All right, here we go, guys. Week one, and we're going to look at what to focus on. There's loads of stuff that we could do, but I just really want to get you off to a strong start. So we're going to go over some basics and a bit of housekeeping and what you exactly need to do in week one. All right, let's go. So MyFitnessPal is going to be basically what we do everything for the whole of this 12 weeks. Now, if you're watching this module, you would have had your onboarding call already. And you would have gone over MyFitnessPal if you haven't used it before, but basically we're going to track everything. So you really want to track all your calories, so scan everything. And in this first week, really in the first 2 weeks, we want to just practice, scan everything you eat, record it, and that way you're going to get to know how the app works and how effective and a tool it can be for actually helping you lose weight. But also you're going to learn things. You're going to learn the calories of certain foods that you didn't realize, the protein, fats, and carbs that are going to be in certain items. And some things you thought were good, we're going to think, oh my God, I didn't realize there was that many calories in that. And some things you didn't realize you thought were bad for you, whatever that means, is actually not that calorific. So it's going to be practice as much as you can, but you're going to learn. Okay, so that's the key. And simple rules when it comes to it. What we're trying to do is get you into a calorie deficit. So don't exceed your daily calorie target. That's all I want you to try and do. Whether it's 2,000 or 1,500, don't exceed that on a daily basis. Hit your protein target that you've been told why protein is so important for you. And carbs and fat can make up the rest. And it really is that simple. I'm not saying this is easy, but if we get this right, if we get this first couple of weeks right, tracking your calories, working out, learning a little bit about food, becoming in control of your food so you're controlling it, and I'll talk about that further on as we go through this training, you're going to get some great results. Now, accountability. This is what we do every single week. You're in this program. You want results. You paid a lot of money to be in this program, so I'm going to hold you accountable. Me and my fat loss coaches are going to make sure you check in with us, and I want you to do this every single week. So first thing, when you wake up, do your weigh-in every single morning, ideally on the same set of scales. Go for a wee, go do whatever you need to do in the toilet, come back, stand naked on the scales, do your weigh-in, and do that first thing Monday morning. And then I want you to email your weekly macros. So you're going to record it. After this video, you'll see there's a second training on how to export your macros. So I want you to send your macros across to me and your coach, and also your feedback form. Okay, in this module, you will see a link to your feedback form. It's a load of questions, finding out exactly where you are, how you feel about this, where your mindset is, where you are, what could you have worked on, what could you have done better, where do you need help? Okay, it's really important you fill that feedback form in. The more feedback you give us and the team, the better we can help you. Okay, it really is as simple to that. Next thing, you want to commit to the weekly group coaching call every single Monday, 8 p.m. BST, British summertime. I cannot overstate how important the weekly call is. If I look at all the clients, that most of them, when they come to their checkout call with me in the last week and they do their testimonial, and I ask them, what was the most valuable part of the program? Every single person says they enjoyed the weekly group coaching calls. You're going to get so much from them, as you'll see when you come to your first one. You'll see how they work. And it really is as simple as that. And literally, listen, last thing, do what you said you'd do. That's it. Show up, commit, check in. You're going to get some great results. Quick recap. Now, you would have gone over this on your onboarding call, but just to go over this, because this is really, really important. Protein, there's 4 calories per gram. Carbohydrates, there's also 4 calories a gram. Alcohol, there's 7 calories a gram. Now, although there's quite a lot of calories gram for gram, doesn't mean you need to cut them out. Definitely don't need to eliminate alcohol to burn fat, to be effective at burning body fat. There's 9 calories in a gram of fat. Now, here's the thing. All calories count, even the ones you don't count. Sounds a bit obvious, but every single thing counts. So if you're not sure, should I count that? The answer is yes. I mentioned this before. The only way that you can burn body fat is by burning more than you consume. That's what we call a calorie deficit. So fat loss can only happen in a calorie deficit. So a lot of people say, well, you know, I'm watching my food and I'm tracking and I'm exercising, I'm going to the gym 3 or 4 times a week, and I'm not burning body fat or I'm not losing any weight. It doesn't matter how much effort you think you're putting in. If you're not burning body fat, somewhere along the lines, you're not in calorie deficit. So it really is that simple. So that means you either need to look at your calories, track a bit better, or track all of them. There's something in that fat loss puzzle that is not working. It really is as simple as that. Now, calorie maintenance, this is where your weight stays the same. And this is what most people do. Well, most people, a lot of people, instinctively, they would overeat some days and then undereat the next day. But by the end of the week, that balance is equated. They're in what we call calorie maintenance. That's where they're not gaining body fat or they're not losing body fat. And that's a nice place to be. If you're not particularly trying to get, gain muscle, no one's particularly trying to go out of the way to gain body fat, unless you're a sumo wrestler. So apologies to all sumo wrestlers, but if you're a sumo wrestler, you're probably not watching this module. So you're trying to lose body fat or gain muscle, okay? But if you're in calorie maintenance, this means you're just kind of staying in the middle. And the next phase, have I missed a bit out? Sorry about that. I jumped a slide there. Calorie surplus. This is the opposite. This is what we don't want. This is where you're consuming more than you burn. Okay, if you consume more than you burn, you're simply going to gain weight, excess body fat. And most do that a lot of the time, some more than others. Now, if you're on this program, maybe this has been a problem for you. Maybe you've had no control over your calories, or you just haven't cared, or you haven't taken care of this. But if you're trying to lose body fat, whether it's 2 pounds or 20 pounds, somewhere along the lines, you've consumed more calories than you're burning. Now we need to switch that around. Burning more calories than you're bringing in. And that's that calorie surplus, calorie maintenance, and calorie deficit. And remember, total calories will trump all. If it all goes wrong, forget your macros. By now you would have been set your macros. And your macros, if you're not sure, is macronutrients. That's just grams of protein, carbs, and fat. You've been set certain macros to try and hit. Now, here's the thing. In an ideal world, you would get those macros. But if it all goes horribly wrong, look at overall calories for the day and for the week, and you can still lose body fat. So forget your macros, focus on your calories. Now, I want you to look at the notion of diet flexibility or flexible dieting, or if it fits your macros. You may have heard it called that before. Let's say someone was aiming for 2,000 calories per day. I've used 2,000 because the maths are really easy. So 2,000 calories a day times 7 for 7 days of the week equals 14,000 calories over the week. Let's say you eat one day, you eat 3,000 calories. A lot of people think, oh, I've blown my diet. You haven't. You can't get fat by overeating on one day. It matters what you do over the whole week. Okay, so don't panic. Just realize that you need to pull those calories back the next day or even over the week. So let's say you eat 3,000 calories or maybe more on a Saturday night. You know that you need to pull some of those calories back over the next few days. And look, as I said there, you don't get fat eating a Whopper and fries once, and you won't lose weight eating a salad. It's what you consistently do. So it's consistency, it's consistent habits, and what you eat over a period of, each day, 7 days, and even over a period of 2, 3, 4 weeks that are going to determine whether you gain weight or lose weight. So don't stress if you overeat one day. Macronutrients, some basics. I know you've covered this, but it's also good to know. So looking at protein and the best sources of protein. Now, if you eat animals, that's fine. If you're vegetarian, vegan, we can look at other options for that. But if you are eating animal sources for your protein, the best is for what we call whole food sources like chicken, beef, turkey, eggs, all fish and seafood, dairy, cheese and yogurt, and whey protein is a great way to get your protein intake up. Vegetarian or vegan, obviously it's a little trickier, but it can be done. Pulses, nuts, seeds, which I haven't mentioned, beans, and quinoa. I'm only joking, it's quinoa, I know that, but some people still call it quinoa. Okay, there's protein. Carbohydrates, best sources, all fruits and vegetables. I think we can all probably agree that we probably need to eat more, certainly vegetables and fruits. Well, you've got to realize vegetables are a lot less calories than fruits, and fruits tend to be high in sugar, although sugar isn't an issue. there tends to be, you can very quickly overeat fruit, so just be aware of it. But a couple of pieces of fruit every day is not going to cause any problems. Oatmeal, or porridge as we like to call it in the UK, sweet potato or white potato, there's not a lot of difference between the two, if I'm completely honest. Brown rice, grainy bread, these are just various sources of carbs. And you know, you're going to see some meal plans in the modules give you more details on that, but just to give you an overview. And let's look at the best sources of fat. Oily fish, things like sardines, mackerel, and salmon, amazing for your health. Extra virgin olive oil is a fantastic source of fat, and avocado, of course, nuts and seeds. And here's one that you probably didn't guess: butter. Now, a lot of people think, oh, butter makes you fat. It's not. It's actually a very good source of fat, saturated fat. And believe it or not, saturated fat is not the killer that we have been taught over the years. So get a good quality fats every single day. And remember, fats don't make you fat. It's an overconsumption of calories. And those calories could come from fat, protein, or carbohydrates. So fat will not make you fat. Sugar doesn't make you fat. But if you eat any amount, overconsume, you can gain body weight. Okay, think about portions on your plate. Every time you have a meal, I want you to think, what protein have I got on this plate? That's what I want you to focus on. What protein is on this plate? Look for protein. Then look for your salad and vegetables. Then look at your source of fat, and then look at your source of carbs. Okay, and that really depends on, I put energy dependent. If a day you're going to the gym, or you've got a run, or you've got an exercise session, a heavy exercise session, then maybe you need more carbohydrates that day for energy. If you're a day where you're in the office and you're not doing too much, or it's a day off from training, it's a rest day, do you need that carbohydrates? Do you need the fruit? Do you need the pasta, the rice, the potatoes, the oatmeal? Again, they're not causing you to gain weight, but do you need the excess energy? Think about it. Maybe you can reduce your calories that way. You know, have more vegetables and have more a source of fat, or increase your protein. Okay, so think about portions on your plate and how you construct a meal. Hydration. Every time I mention water, I always go for a drink of water. And you'll notice it's slightly colored, and I'll tell you why. It's actually electrolytes. I mentioned there in the first point. 500 ml first thing in the morning, half a litre, with a pinch of organic sea salt, which I sometimes do, or electrolytes. You very cheaply get electrolytes on Amazon. It's a couple of tablets, break them up, drop them in, and it will just give you sodium, potassium, and a few other electrolytes. Just a really great way of keeping you hydrated. Now, I just drink one of those 2-litre bottles a day. Now, the trick is, when I wasn't having salt or electrolytes, I found myself going to the toilet all the time, every half an hour, every hour, nipping out for a pee. When you put the salt in there and the electrolytes, or you know, one or the other, it hydrates you better, but you also won't have as many trips to the loo. Okay, and people say, well, how much water do I need? On average, you want to sit between 2 and 3 litres of water per day. So there's a 2-litre water, 2-litre bottle of water. I'll drink that over the day, but I'll also have a couple of cups of coffee and maybe 2 cups of tea as well. So I'm getting more fluid than just the 2 litres. People say, well, how much really? You know, use your own pee as the guide. Pale straw is the color you should be aiming for. So if it's too clear, too white, you know you're probably drinking too much and it's going through you. Add some salt or some electrolytes. If it's too dark and it looks like whiskey, you're dehydrated. And the problem is, once you're dehydrated, it's usually too late. You need to catch up. So don't let yourself get dehydrated. But why do we always want to have so much water? What are the benefits of having this water? Well, let's look at them. The body basically uses water in every cell, every organ and tissue, and it's really great at regulating temperature and various bodily functions. We're effectively made of water. 60% of our body is water, and just a 2% drop in dehydration is lack of energy, headache, fatigue, decreased alertness, and poor moods. Now, here's an interesting fact. when you're dehydrated, it can actually make you feel like you're hungry. Now, there's a correlation here. A lot of people that struggle with their weight, they say that they're always hungry. And not everyone, but nearly all of them, when we look at what they're eating and drinking, we see that they tend to be chronically dehydrated. So imagine actually overeating because you think you're hungry, but it wasn't actually hunger. Your body's saying that you're dehydrated. So that sign, oh, I feel hungry. Think, am I actually hungry, or have I actually consumed enough water? So just be aware of that. Now, let's look at the relationship with food, okay? Because this is the key for nearly everyone. If you can get this right, you're going to get some great results. So yeah, it's fuel, but it's got to be enjoyed. People say they just want to eat because it's fuel. Well, good luck with that. But life is not that simple, not that straight, clear cut. And quite frankly, if you're looking at food as just as fuel, life's going to be boring. Food is one of the greatest pleasures on this planet. So we need to use it, but we're in control of it rather than it being in control of you. And most people with a lot of weight, a lot of the struggle with that, they're really at the mercy of how food makes them behave. Their actions are determined by the food rather than them determining what they're going to eat. Okay, and there's various hormones that are responsible for that. As we work through these modules over the next few weeks, you're going to find out, sleep and appetite. We're going to look at all these things and triggers, emotional triggers, physical triggers about why we eat what we do. And I want you to remember this simple rule: eat when you're hungry, not by the clock. Now, in the Western world, actually, to be fair, all over the world, most people have breakfast, lunch, dinner, maybe a snack mid-morning, maybe afternoon, depending on your appetite. But we do that by the clock. So why 7 o'clock breakfast, 1 o'clock lunch, 6 or 7 p.m. dinner, 8 p.m., depending on where you are. But don't do that. If you're not hungry in the morning, first thing before you go to work or before you start in the office or at home, don't eat. Eat when you're hungry. If you have to wait till 10 o'clock before you get peckish, then do that. Because ultimately, your appetite will guide you. Now, a lot of people just ignore that and can eat when they're not even hungry, and because they love food and maybe could be slightly addicted to food, will just overeat. But if you always are thinking about, do I actually need to eat now, or is it the clock that's telling me to eat? There's something to think about there. Recognize your triggers. Don't go shopping when you're hungry. I'm talking to myself when I put that there. If you go shopping when you're hungry, you might not even notice it, but when you go down the savory aisle and there's the cakes and the biscuits and the chips or the crisps, as we say here in the UK, I'll just try that. Oh, that looks quite good. Slip in, and your body, you're thinking, you're shopping with your gut rather than your brain. You're thinking, that looks good. I'll just try one of those. If I go to the supermarket when I'm hungry, my food bill goes up about 20 or 30 quid extra, and I end up eating something in the car before I even get home. Don't do it. Make sure you're fed, make sure you're hydrated before you hit the supermarket. And look, here's the thing. If you don't buy crap, you won't eat it because it's not in the cupboards. I can tell you right now, if you buy stuff and use it as an excuse for the kids, you're really buying it so you can nip into that cupboard when they go to bed and think, oh, what's that? And when your willpower is down, your senses are down, you're tired, you're emotional, you've had a long day at work, it will get the better of you. It will get the better of you. You know it's there, that nagging feeling, I'll just have one. Okay, now that, if you just have one, not a problem. But often that just have one can cause a cascade of the gloves are off and everyone goes crazy for the food. We don't want that. We've done it. We've all been there. I've been there. Don't buy this stuff in the first place. If it's not in the house, you can't eat it. Okay, it's just a good little tip to avoid you looking at those triggers. And if you still do it, what I want you to realize or understand is don't beat yourself up. This is not about self-flagellation. Oh, I'm a failure. This never works. Don't do that again. Extra lashes. No self-flagellation on this program. Do it on other programs, not on mine. Don't beat yourself up. Realize that you messed up. So what? You're human. That's all part and parcel of this. Recognizing that failure, and I won't call it failure, recognize that I've messed up, but draw a line under this and realize that you can't fail. You can only fail when you quit this program. If you quit in any of the weeks, that's a failure. Just don't quit. Stay the course. And there's going to be ups and there's going to be downs. Some weeks are going to go great. Some weeks are going to go terrible. Some weeks you're going to lose weight. Some weeks you're not going to lose weight. That's all part and parcel of this process, this physical process, this emotional process, this mental process, the psychological process of losing body fat. Okay, so you don't fail. You can't fail. You only fail when you quit. Get back on the horse. Draw a line under it. Okay, there was my trigger. At 10 p.m. on a Saturday night, after 3 glasses of wine and 4 gin and tonics, that bag of Doritos is going down. Okay, so what's the lesson? Don't have the Doritos in the first place. Maybe reduce your drinking. Make a mental note of those triggers. Okay, this is what it's all about. All right, here's my number 1 tip for losing weight. Gonna sound a bit easy. Track all your calories. Simple as that. When it all comes down to it, if you track all your calories and you're not losing weight, all we have to do is adjust those calories or increase the exercise. So track your calories. It really is that simple. It's not easy because of all those psychological aspects we just talked about, triggers and emotional. But ultimately, when it comes down to it, it's about tracking your calories. All right, every Monday night, 8 p.m. British Summer Time, we have our weekly group coaching call, and I can't overstate the value. I can't overstate the value. When you come on that call, you're going to be motivated, you're going to be inspired, you're going to learn. People are going to learn from you. You're going to be in a group of like-minded individuals from all over the world, sometimes 10, 12 people. Ladies, gents, similar positions to you, completely different nationalities, different mother tongue language. It's a great space to be. You're going to learn a lot. You're going to also be held accountable. You're going to hold yourself accountable. We're going to hold you accountable, and the other people on the call are going to hold you accountable. And when you state what you're going to do, I'm going to hit my calories, get to the gym 3 times, I'm going to get to bed at 10 p.m., whatever you say you're going to do, no one wants to come back next week not having done their homework. No one wants to be the one that said, I didn't do what I said I'd do. Everyone has that little bit, you know what? I need to do that. I need to follow up. I'm going to do what I said I'm going to do. I'm going to come back to that call. I've lost 2 or 3 pounds this week. Get on the group coaching call. Now, at the very least, if you can't get on it live, do your best to. I get it. Work, family, life, travel, in the middle of the day, if you're not in the UK, watch the recording the next day. Please watch the recording the next day. You're going to find value, you're going to learn, and you're going to get the best results possible. All right, action steps. And we've come to the end of this video. Number 1, focus on your protein. Hit your daily target. Aim for it. If it's 140 grams of protein, aim for it. Really push it. Go for that amount. There's a reason it's been set there. Go for it. Try and hit it. If you go over it, even better. Aim for 140. If you still get 120, you're going to get great results. But aim for it. Go for it. Track all your calories. That's simple. Track your calories. Every single calorie, everything that goes in your mouth, you're going to put it in that app on your phone. And the third point, every single Monday, do your weigh-in, export those macros, and fill in your feedback form. Because if we don't know what's happening, we don't know where to help you. You have to tell us what's happening. We need to see the weight shifting. We need to know how you feel physically. Are you getting better? How you feel emotionally, mentally? And that feedback form is going to give us the answers that me and the team can help you, guide you, point you in the right direction, maybe pull you in for a coaching call. But we can only help you if you tell us what's going on. All right, that's the end of the module. I'll see you in the next one. Take care.